Let's get started. This is our marketing Zoom session where every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, Rob and Rob's our marketing director here, we kind of lead a discussion around how to market ourselves as real estate agents to develop more customers, more buyers and sellers. How do we do that? What are the important principles? What are sometimes the technical aspects of it? So we're going to do this every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. I want to talk to y'all, and I know, Rob, you and I were talking about it this morning. We want to talk to you guys today about target audiences and I really want us, when we get off the Zoom, and we only have about 15 to 20 more minutes. So I really want to make this point because it's so important. It's everything. As agents, we have to answer two questions, and those are the only two questions that matter. And everything else is noise. Everything else is noise. The only two questions that matter to us are, who is going to buy and sell homes with you over the next 12 months? And don't give me big, broad categories like first-time home buyers or luxury, because unless you've got millions, you can't market to. You'll have to market to 7 million people to hit that audience. No big, broad categories. Specifically, who is going to buy and sell homes with you? And the answer to that should be a minimum of 500 people. And to get started, probably not more than 1,000, plus or minus a little bit. And you need to be able to enter them person by person into a database: name, phone number, email address. And if you can't do that, your audience is too broad. You don't know we don't know what we're talking about. So if you said, well, just to use an easy one, well, first-time home buyers, I'd say, okay, great. Well, just go ahead and spend the rest of this week entering all the first-time home buyer prospects in Atlanta into your database. Tracy, just go ahead and get started right now. And like, well, I don't know who they are. I'm like, right. And how do they know who you are? They don't. So how are you going to reach them? And the answer I get a lot is, well, marketing. I'm like, no, I get that. So how many millions do you have to spend on marketing? Because you're going to have to market to the whole metro Atlanta area to find a broad category of people like that. But if I said, I'm going to my neighborhood where I live, and you said, okay, well, enter them into a database. I go, okay, I can do that. The people at my church, the people at my golf club, the people in my Rotary club, I could do this. One of our young agents this week, we just keep going over and over this conversation. Jay's smiling because we just had this conversation. And I finally say to the kid, because it's just us, right? We'll just call him a kid. He's barely 24. And I said, do you do anything? And he goes, no. I'm like, well, did you go to school? He goes, yeah, I went to Alabama. I'm like, great. So you went to University of Alabama. I said, did you do anything there? He goes, yeah, I was in a fraternity. I was like, well, which one? And he told me, and I'm not a fraternity guy, so I don't remember the name of it. I'm like, was that a big one? He goes, yeah, it's the biggest one on campus. Like, do they have chapters at other schools? He goes, yeah, all the big schools. I'm like Georgia Tech? He goes, yeah. I'm like, could you get like a directory or a database of all your fraternity brothers? That's what you call each other, right? Brother. He goes, well, yeah, my roommate was the president. Oh, you got to be kidding me. I said, well, go get it. Go get it. Come back and see me. So he comes in the next day. I'm like, did you get it? He's like, yeah, I got the whole country. It only goes back to like the late 60s. So I'm like, so you got everybody in the country that was in this fraternity going back 50 years? He goes, yeah. Like, well, then you're golden. That you just got a gold mine. And then 24 hours later, he's completely put it in a desk drawer and forgotten about it, right, Jay? Yeah, right. Now he wants to cold call the phone book. Like, why would you want to cold call the phone book when you have a whole group of people here that call you brother, and you want to cold call people that don't know you at all? Why would you do that? Who's going to buy and sell homes with you? See, for that kid, does he have a target audience? Yeah, he does. All these people that went to college, were in his fraternity, convey. So, Rob, you went to Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Don't feel bad about that. It's okay. I
A little
mean,
embarrassing this year.
Rob, everybody can't get into Georgia. There need to be backup opportunities for some kids. Okay. Oh, and you were in a fraternity.
I was.
What fraternity were you in at Clemson?
Pi Kappa Phi.
Good. That's a big one, right?
Yeah.
I know at Georgia, I think they were shut down for excessive partying.
That would not surprise me in the least.
What do you call each other?
Brother.
Brothers. You have something in common.
Yeah.
Right. Jay, you've had kids. The school where your children go, or do you have for lack of a better word, do you have a brotherhood with the other parents that have children in that school?
Yes, sir, I do.
There's some connectivity shared among all of you. You are friends, though you might not even know each other, but your kids all go to the school together. So you have this in common. It's a bond, right? I play golf at my golf club. Everybody, if they don't know my name, they just say, hey, buddy, right? We're friends, but I don't know you. Yeah, but we're all members here. So unless you turn out to be a total jerk, we're just automatically friends. Okay, these are groups of people in our life that we have something in common with. When we talk about target audiences, I want you to think about it like this, because this is the most important thing in your career. Look at all the other professions that already do this. Doctors, do doctors have a specialty, an area of focus, their thing? My next door neighbor is a heart surgeon. He's not working on my ankle. He's not going to do it. I just had my physical last week. They refer you out to specialists for certain types of things, right? Why people specialize in certain types of things, I've never figured out, but that's a different Zoom for a different time. Who is going to buy and sell homes with you over the next year? Who is that? And if you don't know, how are they supposed to know you? The most important question we all have in our real estate careers. Who's my peeps? Where's my tribe? What's my group of, who is going to do business with me? Okay. Now, the second question can only be answered when you answer the first. And Rob, I know that our agents keep coming to you all the time and they want to talk about marketing themselves. But if you don't know who you're marketing yourself to, Rob, if I don't know who I'm going to market myself to, how are you going to help me?
There's not a lot I can do.
There's not a lot you can do. Well, I want to make a video. Well, great. Who's going to see the video? Well, everybody. Rob, everybody. I'm going to put it on social media and the whole world will see it.
Yeah. Okay. Break out your wallet.
Well, Rob, I have 400 friends on Facebook.
No.
I'm missing a zero, right?
Yeah.
Right. Facebook could give me 5,000. And what percentage of my 400 are going to, 5% are even going to see it?
Yep.
Right. So like 20.
Yeah.
Right. See the problem? And what if my message is irrelevant to those 20 people?
Mm-hmm.
What if I'm talking about being a first-time home buyer and the 20 people that actually get my post already own a home? It's irrelevant. You move on. Tracy, you ever see car commercials on TV?
Yes.
Are you going to buy a car this week?
No.
So do you find the car commercials annoying?
Yes.
Right. See how it works? If you're not in the market to buy a car, the car commercials actually are irritating.
Right.
Exactly.
But when you are in the market to buy a car, all of a sudden you're paying attention.
True.
They know that. Okay. So who's going to buy and sell homes with me? That's your first question. Your second question is, okay, what am I going to do every day to be the top of mind, credible expert with that group of people? What am I going to do? That's called your strategy. What are the 4 to 6 action steps that you need to take? Debbie, when you wake up this morning, that's the first thing that I want to start hitting your brain. Not where's my coffee, not anything else, is okay, what are the 4 to 6 things I need to do today to make an impact to become the top of mind, credible expert with the people in my target audience? That's your strategy. So if you've ever been like me and you're going, okay, I want to do something. Now, what do I need? I have goals, I have ambitions. I want to sell a certain number of homes this year. What do I do? Like, what do I need to be doing today? Well, if you don't know who you're going to do it to, it's impossible to come up with that strategy because watch, this is so important. Block out all the noise in our industry. They're all trying to get your credit card number, and I'm not asking for anything this morning. Your strategy has to be very specific and appropriate to that group of people. Don't get it wrong. It's not the same strategy for everybody. So Tracy, if you say that you want to work with the people at your church, okay, there is a appropriate strategy that won't offend people at your church.
Right.
And Manuela, if you said, I want to work with for sale by owners, I would say that's fine. That's a whole different strategy. Don't get those two mixed up or you'll push people away from you. Right. Folks, those are the only 2 questions you have to answer. Who's going to buy and sell homes with you? And it needs to be at least 500 people, not more than 1,000 to get started. Now, the more homes you want to sell, the bigger that target audience has to be, because only 5% of the population's even going to consider a move this year. So you can use that. So if I have a target audience of 1,000 people, I know that only 50 of them are going to be moving's even in consideration for them this year. 50. Okay, out of that 50, what can be a reasonable anticipation of capture on my part? And if you think it's 100, you're crazy. Nobody gets 100%. Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola's share of the soft drink market is 13%. Even Coca-Cola only gets 13%. What's a reasonable expectation on your part? The first year with that target audience, I would say somewhere between 8 and 11%. So if you have a target audience of 1,000 people, only 50 of them are going to entertain a move this year, and you're only going to capture 10% of that. It's 5. Well, I want to sell 30 homes this year. Okay, then your target audience isn't big enough. Now, what action steps do I need to take every day? Depends on the target audience, and we would have to build that so that it's appropriate to make you the top of mind, credible expert. Gosh, I hope that makes sense to somebody, because it's just so important. And it's so hard to come up with the right target audience. And through the course of my career over 3 decades, I probably went through 5 or 6 different target audiences. I didn't have one and then stayed with it forever. And here's why. Things change. I don't know how long most of you have been in the business, but if you hang around long enough, this will be a story that you tell one time. Hey, remember back in 2021? Right. It's not going to stay this way. What's going to happen? I don't know, but something's going to happen and things change. And when things change, you change. So I did. There was a time, it's kind of hard to imagine now, but there was a time when I didn't want listings, like the early 90s, 91, 92. I didn't want any listings. You couldn't get them sold. I'd need 40 properties on the market to get something sold. And then it was just a fight all the time. You're just beating the living daylights out of your sellers to drive their price down. Because the only thing that was selling was underpriced homes. It's kind of the reverse of this. Well, I didn't want, well, today listings are great, but not then, right? And I did a lot of door knocking at one time. It worked great. I don't advocate door knocking now. It's a different world. It's a different time. There are other tools that have become available to us that we didn't have then. So great agents thrive in all markets, and they thrive in all markets because they change and adapt to the marketplace that they're in. So whatever target audience you settle on today, don't get married to it. It's not forever. Okay. Now I want to stop and I want to open up to you guys. If you have a question, thought, input, just unmute and jump in with us. If you don't, I'm going to call on you, and that's much worse. Okay, Debbie Peacock. Unmute, Debbie Peacock, and tell us what's on your mind right now in regards to this conversation.
Just taking it all in.
Okay, who's your target audience?
Just our community, schools, friends, their parents, kids' parents.
Okay.
Grant thinks I'm talking to him. I'm not talking to you, Grant.
Okay, mute back, Debbie. Okay, a couple of thoughts there. First, your sphere of influence is not a target audience. Everybody has a sphere of influence. Everybody has family and friends. That doesn't count. There's not enough business. And this is a big myth. You don't know enough people who are going to move every year to pay your bills off of that. Now, if you just want to make vacation money every year, that's fine. That's a whole different thing. But you don't know enough people every year that are going to move. So family and friends, sphere of influence doesn't count. Now, Debbie mentioned a couple of groups that are very legitimate, and I want to encourage her to define these a little bit further. Schools, which schools? Now, go get the database of all these people who have children at those schools. Well, I can't. Well, then it's not a target audience. It's a good idea, but unless you can get the data, then it's hard to, then how are they going to know about you? Well, we're going to show up to events. Events is one part of the strategy. It's not the strategy. It's just a spoke in the wheel. If that's all we're doing, that's not going to work. We're just going to spend time and money and get frustrated because we're not going to get a return on the investment because we're not making contact with them enough different ways to develop top of mind awareness. So define your target audience very specifically. And then the other thing is, can you get the data? Can you get the names, addresses, phone numbers, email address, or some combination of these things? Otherwise, it's just a good idea, but you're not able to implement. Does that make sense? Okay. Manuela. So we're going to go a little over time. If you need to drop off, that's fine. Manuela, who's your target audience?
My target audience is Western Roswell, people who like historic Roswell. I'm branding myself as the historian realtor, and that's who I'm after.
Okay, so Manuel, a couple thoughts there, and I'm going to tease with you a little bit, okay? Okay, total bullshit. Okay, wait. Okay, so she hasn't dropped off yet. Total bullshit, way too big, way too broad. You're talking about 50 to 60,000 people, right? So how are they going to know about you?
Well, I am posting on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm sending out weekly messages to 2,000 people every week. And I'm out in my community as much as I possibly can
Okay,
every day.
watch. Total bullshit.
Should I hang up now or later?
Later.
Okay.
But I'm so glad that we did this, because at the risk of really ticking Manuela off today, we're going to have some fun at her expense. These are broad descriptions of actions that have no meaning to them. So I'm out there in my community every day. I have no idea what the hell that means. It looks like right now you are probably out there in your community, but you're not marketing yourself. Well, I'm posting on social media every day. So let's do this, Manuela. How many friends would you say you have on Facebook?
About 1,800.
1,800. Okay, so we're going to do some math. I love doing math. 1,800, okay, times 5%. That means 90 people see your stuff. 90.
Okay.
You're missing a 0 or 2. Okay.
Everybody is, it sounds like it.
I'm not. I got 5,000. And so the question would be okay, so West Roswell, are you connected to everyone in West Roswell on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn?
Well, clearly not if I have 1,800 Facebook friends.
Hey, I just looked up Manuela. She has 3,600.
3,600. Good. So see, this is what happens when I pick on somebody. The other agents rally.
We'll protect you.
Okay, so that's
you.
100. 5% is 180. Okay.
Man, that's a lot better than 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it had been less, I wouldn't have commented.
If you compare it to 90, everything is better. Now,
Let me go into unhook this.
and Will is probably going to come punch me today or something. But do you
Right
have
there.
do you have a database? Do you have a database of everybody that lives in West Roswell? Oh, see, she dropped off.
No.
No, you don't. Then it's not a target audience. It's an idea. It's a goal one day. But where do you live? So this is so great, and I appreciate Manuela being willing to play with us a little bit. Where do you live?
In Roswell Place in Western Roswell.
You live in West Roswell. You live in a neighborhood in West Roswell. Could you get the database of everybody that lives in your neighborhood?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm working on it, but I haven't gotten all of them yet.
Okay. So let's imagine that she said yes. Because I think if you want it, you can get it. Hey, as an example, if for whatever crazy reason you ever invite me over to your house, don't leave your neighborhood directory laying out on the kit. Rob, I'll steal it. Rob, you live in Carriage Station? Is that right? I'll steal it if I have to go through your drawers. If I'm over at your house, I'm going through your kitchen drawers because I know you've got a neighborhood directory and I know where everybody puts it. You put it in a drawer in the kitchen. I'm going through your drawers, and if I find it, I'm taking it. Now I'll bring it back to you, and one day you'll find it in the cushions of the sofa, and you'll go, "How'd it get here?" Like, because I stole it and brought it back a week later. Okay.
Blame it on my 4-year-old too.
Yeah, that's right. It's damn kids. Don't start way out here with West Roswell. It's too big. It's like too little butter spread over too much bread. You won't be able to make an impact. Nobody will know who you are. Start in here. Start in where you live, Manuela. Start on your street. Start small and build it out. If you start big, you'll burn out and crash, and you'll never get any traction. Start real small and build it out. Your goal might be one day to be West Roswell, but that's years down the road. Start here, move out. Okay, makes sense? Okay, and watch for action items that don't mean anything. Like, I'm out there in my community every day. That has no meaning at all. Does going to the grocery store count as a marketing action?
No,
You know, you need 4 to 6 specific actions that you take every day that establishes you as the credible expert with that group of people. Now, I can do this for hours because this is so important, but this is a starter kit for this. You can't do anything else in your real estate business except market to your sphere of influence until you get this. And again, the average real estate agent in Metro Atlanta sells 3 houses a year. And the reason that is because they're all trying to sell houses to their sphere of influence, and nobody knows enough people that are going to move this year to make a living off of it. It's just a side hobby. Does that make sense? So other than your sphere of influence, who is going to buy and sell homes from you? And if you come up with ideas, I'll love to interact with you on this, but we really can't do anything else. Rob, can you help me if I don't know who it is that's my customer?
I cannot.
You cannot. So Rob comes to me yesterday and he's like, I'm really frustrated. I want to help. Everybody keeps wanting to do all these things, but they don't know who they're doing it to. I'm like, well, then how do they know what to do? Because they don't. They just want to make videos and post them on Facebook and hope something happens from that. Nothing is going to happen from that. Social media is not a lead generation tool. And look, before everybody starts going haywire on this, I get it that you can tell me one-off stories about getting lucky on social media and selling a house to somebody. That's not a strategy. That's luck. It happened one time. One time at band camp, we're trying to build a strong, repeatable business. It's predictable and repeatable. That's not, I posted a video one time and somebody called me off of it. That's not a business. So Rob can't help you. He can't help you generate a message. He can't help you create a marketing campaign until you know who it is that's going to be your customer. Who are your peeps? And if this keeps you up at night, good. It should. This should be the gnawing, irritating question that haunts you all the time. Doctors do it. Lawyers do it. Insurance people do it. Why don't we? Because here's why. And let's finish with this. Because we're greedy. That's why. Because I don't want to eliminate anybody. No. I want to sell houses to and for anybody that might want to. Right. That's the sure way to do nothing. My next door neighbor is a heart surgeon. He's not worried about people that need knee surgery today. There's plenty of people that need heart surgery. He's going to be fine. Make sense?
Yes.
If you want to sell houses to everybody, you're going to sell houses to nobody. Figure out who your group of peeps are. Come talk to me about it. Don't try to do anything else in this business till you get resolved on what that looks like. And then we got to start acquiring the data.
Right.
And a target audience without the data is nothing.
Okay.
Wow. Manuela didn't even hang up on me today, and I was just rude. I'm going to pay for that, aren't I?
for you. Yeah, I'll be right there.
Okay. Hey, to be nice for a second, I hope y'all have a great holiday. See you next week.
You too. Thank you.
Take care, guys.